problem is that her family history generally does not indicate screening, as she has not had any first-degree family members with an aneurysm per our last visit. And again, this also makes me so angry because I know they were f***ing wrong, right? I have a brain aneurysm, and they could have killed me. Okay. Ooh, okay. I'm getting so heated. Last week, I posted a video about my MRA experience, and in that video, I mentioned briefly that I wanted to talk about the importance of advocating for yourself in the medical arena. So that's what today's video is going to be about. Hi, I'm Jenna or Jenna Cat, and I create lifestyle vlogs here on YouTube with an emphasis on productivity, creativity, and self-care. And today we are going to be talking about the ultimate form of self-care, which is self-advocating. It's a pain in the butt, but sometimes you gotta do it. I will say as a little disclaimer that I am not an expert in advocating for yourself in the medical arena, but I am an expert in advocating for myself in any situation ever. I am very passionate about making sure my needs are met and that I'm being treated fairly. So when this little incident happened, when this little medical incident happened, I was not gonna take it lying down. I was going to fight back, and I was going to fight back hard, and I wasn't going to let any doctor tell me that my concerns weren't important enough. Okay. All right. So with that little sidebar, my story begins technically 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, my biological cousin, yes, I am adopted, but I still have contact with my birth family. So 10 years ago, my biological cousin got diagnosed with a brain aneurysm. And soon after that diagnosis, got that aneurysm coiled, which is a minimally invasive procedure used to treat certain types of aneurysms. Not all aneurysms can be treated this way, but hers was able to be treated this way. And they just go in through the leg, you go up through the blood vessels and put like copper coils in the like protrusion in your brain, and it essentially helps the area, that open area, the clot, it helps it clot better and stops it from blood continuing to flow into that balloon-like shape. Okay, so that's what a coil is. So she got the coil done 10 years ago. When that happened, her and her family informed me that my biological family, the women in my biological family, have a genetic predisposition to brain aneurysms. There's a great-grandmother, a great-aunt, an aunt, and now my cousin. 4 women between their 30s and 40s that have had one or more aneurysms. Great-grandmother has passed away from an aneurysm. Another relative had a ruptured aneurysm but has survived. And then another relative and my cousin have had unruptured aneurysms treated. So that is like a significant amount of people that I'm related to that have had aneurysms. Not only have they had aneurysms, but 2 of those women have had ruptured aneurysms. So that is even more stressful. Okay, so when I found out about this, I was 20. So I wasn't too worried about it yet. And like I knew it was coming for me. Like I knew it. There was a time limit or a time frame that I needed to have this checked out. But 20, I wasn't too worried about it. I didn't have a primary care doctor at the time, and I was seeing a naturopath. And I tried to get him to refer me, but because of insurance hoopla that I don't understand, it didn't work out. But I was like in my 20s, so I wasn't worried about it at that point. So, okay, fast forward 10 years to March 18th. 2024. I turned 30. Also, ironically enough, it is March 18th, 2025. I am now 31. Happy birthday to me. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I hear you all saying happy birthday right now. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Okay, anyway, so I turned 30 March 18th, 2024. And I'm like, all right. It's time to get my butt into gear. I need to get things in place so I can start investigating my brain, you know, right? So I work on getting my first ever primary care physician since I was a child. I have not had a primary care physician since I was a child. That's just on me. I just let the ball drop on that for years. I work on getting a primary care set up, but my initial appointment with my primary care was like too far in the future. I believe my initial appointment with her was set in November, and I'm like, I need to see someone sooner. Okay, at this point, it's like, I think it's May that I'm setting these appointments. Yeah, it's towards the end of May that I'm setting these appointments. And I'm like, I don't want to wait till November because I know for some reason this is going to be a process. So I want to get it started as soon as possible. Okay, so I see a telehealth doctor who is not part of like my care team, but I was just like, I need to see someone now. I was also experiencing really bad carpal tunnel pain. That has since been addressed. It's actually cubital tunnel in my elbow, and it was just the pain was manifesting most in my wrist. That's a sidebar. But in that telehealth meeting, I first addressed the carpal tunnel pain / cubital tunnel pain, and then also asked the doctor to send in a referral for me to get an MRA. And I'm very clear that it has to be an MRA because I was told that my birth mom went to get this scan and she got an MRI, and the MRI did not give enough detail of like the blood vessels to show whether or not she had an aneurysm. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to waste my time or money getting the wrong scan first. So I was very clear with him, it has to be an MRA. And I told him, like, here's all of my family history. Here's all of the women in my family that have had a brain aneurysm and how many they had, because a couple of them had more than one. More than one. And like I said, 2 of those women had ruptured aneurysms and one of them passed because of it. So the date of this telehealth appointment was June 7th, 2024. Okay? June 7th, 2024 is when I had this telehealth appointment. So I tell this doctor all of the things I just said, and he says to me, well, do you have any symptoms? If you are not familiar with brain aneurysms, let me fucking tell you, majority of the time you do not have a symptom until it ruptures. In which case, it's too fucking late and you are dying, okay? I'm heated about this. When he asked me that, and I realize he probably has to ask me, but the way he asked it infuriated me so much. And I said to him, according to the internet, according to all the research I've done on this, mind you, I've been researching this since I turned 30. So March, I turned 30. June 7th is when I'm having this appointment. I've had like 3.5 months to research brain aneurysms, all right? I researched symptoms. Like, I wanted to know, like, when will I know if I'm dying, right? I know I'm not an expert. I'm not in the medical field, but I had spent hours upon hours researching brain aneurysms. So I could be as prepared as possible for whatever my diagnosis is, and so I could be as prepared as possible to notice warning signs, right? Because I hadn't had this scan yet. I wanted to be on top of it. I wanted to know what my warning signs were. So I told him, I'm like, according to what I've researched, there are no symptoms until it ruptures. I'm like, could you tell me what some of those symptoms are? And then maybe I can let you know if I've had any of them, because I can't find a definitive list of pre-rupture aneurysm symptoms. And he didn't give me anything. He just wrote down that I had no symptoms. Like, that's all he heard me say. He's like, no symptoms? Oh, she's fine. So he told me in that meeting, insurance probably won't cover a scan for this. And I'm like, I don't care. Order it anyways. This is important. Get off the telehealth meeting. This is where things get immensely more complicated, and it's been so long since the start of this process that some of the details definitely are going to be jumbled up, and I'm not going to remember all of them and it got so confusing. I can't even begin to emphasize how confusing this got. And that's okay. I want to just say a real quick aside. I am a fairly intuitive individual, and I have people in my life that are very neurodivergent, and I've seen them try to navigate the medical arena, try to navigate medical insurance and appointments and scheduling appointments and who to call and what to say. And let me tell you, this is a separate rant. This is definitely a separate rant, but the way the system is set up is absolutely not intuitive for folks who are neurodivergent or who have other cognitive disabilities. I struggled getting this test because of the constant runaround I had between all the phone numbers and all the people I had to call and all the people I had to call back, and then this and back and forth and back and forth. I had trouble navigating this. I cannot even imagine the absolute hell it is for someone who is neurodivergent or doesn't understand this this type of like, it took a whole other level of brain power to make this happen. And yeah, I just want to say, because I love someone very dearly who is neurodivergent, I could not imagine this person trying to go through what I had to go through to make this scan happen. So yeah, that's another rant. Okay, get off the telehealth phone call. And I went back to all my notes, all of my notes from 2 different doctors during this whole process, and it pisses me off. Okay. First they give me a number to neurology, and I call neurology, and they're like, oh no, you don't want to call us, you want to call neurosurgery. And I was like, okay, can you give me the number for neurosurgery? And so they gave me a number to a different clinic for neurosurgery. I called that number, and I have to leave a message and wait for a call back. So I do that, and I say in the message like, hey, this is my deal. I think I was referred. I think they gave me the wrong number, but I need an MRA ordered. Get a call back, and they say, we don't order the MRA. Like, they were very confused. It's like, we don't order the MRA. And your doctor orders the MRA. You get it done. And then you come to us if they find something, and then you speak to one of our neurosurgeons, and they tell you what you should do about the thing that they find. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we're going to keep track as the number of calls I had to make is going to get real confused. But for now, we'll keep track. Okay, telehealth, call number 1. Neurology, call number 2. Neurosurgery, call number 3. Call number 4, I call the doctor's office back that put in this original. They didn't put the order in yet, technically. They just said, call this number. Reading through these notes, now I see that they wanted me to call this number to get an opinion of the scan I wanted. But again, that wasn't really their job. The job was for me to tell my doctor what I needed and my doctor to make that call. Okay, here's the part that pisses me off to no end. Okay. First, there's this doctor who wasn't the one I met with on telehealth, but for some reason he was assigned to my care team. I've never met this doctor. I've not talked to him on the phone. I've not talked to him on Zoom. I've not talked to him in person. I've only ever had interactions, me calling the front office and being like, I'm really angry and annoyed by what's going on, and then him having some sort of stupid response. I do not think very highly of this doctor. And reading his reviews, a lot of people don't think very highly of this doctor. Okay, so this doctor, who's on my care team but didn't talk to me directly ever, says, patient has a referral to neurology, which I felt was the first step in getting an opinion on her risk. I do not see where neurosurgery is indicated at this point. Please clarify what I am missing. Prior to that, I had told the lady at the front desk, neurology does not make this decision. Neurosurgery can't do shit until I get an MRA, which needs to be ordered by my doctor, okay? And yes, I'm gonna be cursing a lot because this fires me up so much, and I'm just so angry. I mean, I finally got my scan, obviously, based on the fact that my previous video was getting the MRA, but it still just fires me up so much. Okay, this is why I say I'm not an expert in advocating for yourself in the medical field, but I am a damn expert in advocating for myself, okay? So if you take anything from me and from this video is that you need to be fired up for yourself, okay? It's exhausting, but boy, does it get results if you are persistent. And I'm no longer going to keep track of how many phone calls I've made, because just reading through these notes, I've made multiple phone calls to the front office at this point, and I'm not going to count them all. Actually, yeah, there's multiple messages where I had to call and say, neurology told me that they are not the place neurosurgery is, and that doctor just wouldn't fucking get the clue that neurology, he was so stuck on it needs to be neurology, and neurology is telling me it is not us, call someone else. And like, shouldn't the doctor know that? I don't understand what's like considered the norm in this scenario, but I feel like the doctor should know that. So this is where I get super pissed. So the doctor that I met with on telehealth Review notes. Looks like patient needs to go to neurosurgery, but needing MRA prior. Problem is that her family history generally does not indicate screening, as she has not had any first-degree family members with an aneurysm per our last visit. And again, this also makes me so angry because I know they were fucking wrong, right? I have a brain aneurysm, and they could have fucking killed me. Okay. Okay. I'm getting so heated. Please let patient know that given her family history, aneurysm screening is not generally recommended. If she would like to proceed with an MRA and specialist evaluation, it may not be covered by her insurance and very costly. How condescending is, like, yeah, let me deal with that. If insurance won't cover it, let me appeal with insurance, but you don't get to decide what tests get ordered based on what you think insurance will or will not cover. Right? That's my decision to make, not yours. Oh, and this part too. She should be reassured that given that she has no first-degree family members with an aneurysm, she is a lower risk individual. I have one. They could have killed me. And I know that's dramatic, but like, their negligence and their refusal to fucking listen to me, listen to my family history. I don't care if I didn't have a first-degree family member at that point. Mind you, there's 3 first-degree family members that I have that haven't been scanned yet, okay? And none of them could get a scan because they don't have a first-degree family member with the aneurysm. Now they do. Now they can. But, like, patient should be reassured that she is not a high risk. But I have an aneurysm, right? Like, that's stupid as shit. I have one. So, yeah. This gets me so heated. This is also going to be a way longer video than I expected because I'm so heated. So this is the point where I pulled out the big guns and I said, if you do not order this test, and if something were to happen to me because I had an undiagnosed aneurysm, there could be legal action for negligence. Okay, I pulled out the big fucking guns on this one. I was like, no, I am not letting them, like, bully me into not getting this test. I don't like it. I need this test. I just need it. Okay. And I feel bad because I was being very clipped and short and aggressive with the like folks talking to me on the phone. And I know it's not their fault. I wasn't ever mad at them. They don't make these decisions. The doctor does. They just tell the doctor what I'm saying. So I do feel bad that I probably came across a little aggressive. I was never mad at them. I just want to let that be known. I was not mad at the front office ladies, or the scheduling ladies. Like, I didn't have beef with them, but I had beef with the situation, and I was like, I need you to understand how frustrated I am right now. There was one really nice gal who I was just talking with her for a long time, and I told her, like, this is ridiculous that I can't get this scan ordered. Like, can you, like, is that, am I wrong for saying that? And she was like, no, you're right. It is ridiculous that you can't get this scan ordered and that you can't get it covered by insurance. So I recommend that you fight insurance to get them to cover it. And so she was like the first little like silver lining of hope of like, yeah, insurance probably won't cover this, but you can fight with insurance to get them to cover it. I was like, okay. That made me feel better, and so, like, I was very grateful for her. And also, I want to also say that one of the neurosurgeons of one of my family members literally recommended that every single descendant of that great-grandmother, the first one to have a ruptured aneurysm in our line, that he recommended every single woman of that is descended from that great-grandmother get screened for aneurysms. And I told that to the doctors multiple times and they still wouldn't listen to me. So finally, after I threatened potential legal action, they got the scan ordered but told me insurance will deny it. You'll have to pay out of pocket. And I'm like, okay, that sucks, but I will figure it out. I just need this scan. And then, of course, they ordered an MRI, even though I was so clear it needs to be an MRI. It just needs to be. Although, it potentially an aneurysm can be found on an MRI, but an MRI is just more specifically blood vessels. I just needed it to be that scan, right? So, Then I have to like email and say, this is an MRI. It needs to be an MRA. So he does fix it at that point. But I'm so over dealing with these two doctors, the telehealth doctor and then the doctor on my care team, that I'm just like, good Lord, can you do fucking anything right? But the test finally gets ordered. Let's see. I think the next thing that happens, this is where things get really jumbled in my memory. I think the next thing that happens is that insurance denies it. So then I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 months to appeal with insurance. And in true me fashion, I wait till the very last fucking moment to appeal with insurance just because life got so busy. And honestly, I was so exhausted with how hard I had to fight at the beginning of this journey that I just was like, I can't think about this for a long time. I was so exhausted fighting so hard just to get the scan ordered. So again, okay, insurance denies it. I appeal it and it gets approved after I appeal it. It gets approved in like end of December or something. But there was a time limit on the referral. So the referral expired based on when it was first ordered, not when the appeal came in. So by the time I went to go make the appointment for my appealed MRA, the referral had expired because I waited so long to appeal. So that's on me. But didn't realize, I thought the referral would like reset once with the appeal, but it didn't. So I had to go through that process kind of all over again. I'm now seeing my primary care doctor, but because she was not the one to originally order the scan, I had to have that freaking doofus of a doctor that really pisses me off. He had to order it again. So that was a whole other process. Because he's not my doctor anymore, and I'd never ever met him ever, but he has to be the one to appeal it. So there was a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages back and forth on my chart. The wrong tests just kept getting ordered and ordered and ordered. And part of that was I thought I needed an MRI with contrast because that's what was ordered originally. And that's what I thought I needed. So when it got ordered MRA without contrast, I kept fighting to get it with contrast. At this point, I've probably made over 20 calls, like through the span of these months. I've made so many calls. It is exhausting. It was confusing. I couldn't keep track of it all. So I kept fighting for a test with contrast because that's how it was originally ordered. And then finally I get that ordered and sent to radiology. I call radiology and they're like, we don't typically do MRAs with contrast. You need to call your doctor and have them reorder this. I'm like, are you kidding? I've already had this test reordered like 4 fucking times. I have to have it done again. But they were insistent that they didn't need the test done with contrast. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to trust anyone, it should probably be radiology. I don't trust my doctors. At least those original doctors. So they may have ordered it with contrast at first, and I was convinced it needed to be with contrast. But radiology convinced me that it should be fine without contrast. So at this point, my current primary care doctor could reorder it, and that was so much smoother. Once she reordered it, I was able to get an appointment with radiology within like a week and a half. I talk about that in my MRA video and like my experience getting the MRA. And then, so during the MRA, I hear back towards the end of the day that I do indeed have a small aneurysm behind my left eye. And I've now been referred to a neurosurgeon. And I have an appointment with a neurosurgeon in April to talk about next steps. But like, this is where like... it's just insanely frustrating that 2 different doctors wouldn't fucking listen, right? And potentially I could have gone my whole life without my aneurysm rupturing, but because I have family history of ruptured aneurysms, like that's a chance I was not willing to take. And it's just like, I feel vindicated and validated that they found something. Obviously, that's like not ideal to have an aneurysm in your brain. That's not an ideal situation. Editing Jenna coming on here real quick to say, I forgot to mention this when I recorded the video, but the other reason why I feel so validated about my test result is because even though that doctor, not the telehealth doctor, but the doctor that was part of my care team that I never had any sort of meeting with, that doctor got my test results sent to him. It just automatically sent to him because I think he was the original doctor who ordered them. So he got to see that he was fucking wrong, right? He got to see that I have an aneurysm, even though he insisted I didn't need the MRI. So that's the other reason why I'm like, feel very validated, because he gets to see the huge ass mistake he made. I don't know if that will incentivize him to not dismiss his patients in the future. Probably not, given the fact that he had a ton of really horrible reviews. But it makes me feel so much better. So yeah, let's get back to the main part of the video. But I feel vindicated and validated that I was right. I was fucking right. Right? Like, I was so right to fight and push and bitch and be an absolute pain in multiple people's asses to get this scan done. Because I was at a risk. I was at a higher risk than these doctors were willing to admit. And I don't know why this is such a prevalent thing. Like, this is not the first time someone's medical concerns were dismissed by medical professionals. And let me just say, not all medical professionals are like this, right? Like, I can recognize there's some really awesome medical professionals out there. Like, I think if I had just waited to get the scan ordered until I saw my primary care physician, I think she would have ordered it without giving me a big stink. I think she would have ordered it. I've only met with her once, but I feel like she would have listened to me. It's probably helpful that she's a female and the other two that wouldn't listen to me were male. And yeah, I think that's also like a really big thing to recognize, is that women tend to get dismissed and women of color tend to get dismissed the absolute most. But yeah, so with all of that said and done, so I had my first appointment to request this scan June 7th, 2024. I didn't get my fucking scan until March 5th, 2025. Let's do some math, okay? June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, and then March 5th. So 9 months to get the scan. That's absolute insanity. In no world should that be accepted, right? That is just bonkers to me. So look, I don't know if I have any practical advice other than like, your concerns are so valid and you should not let a doctor dismiss you. Like, I understand that it's really easy to catastrophize things, especially with like Google. It's really easy to look up symptoms and assume the absolute worst. So like, obviously you need to have a little discernment, but also better safe than sorry, right? Like, these doctors were operating under the better dead, better dead than safe. Like they just dismissed me. I have literal, like, written proof of them dismissing me, and that is beyond frustrating, but I do feel so vindicated that I was right. Like, that's so great. But yeah. So that's like my rant, my long ass rant. If you're in a situation where you need to advocate for yourself in the medical like arena, it's gonna take a lot of work. It's going to be exhausting. I'm really sorry. It's going to be exhausting. It's going to be mentally and emotionally taxing. It's going to be like, some days you don't want to keep fighting for it, but you have to keep fighting for it. You are so worth the fight, even if you're the one that has to do it, right? Like, it sucks. But sometimes people just don't listen, and that's really frustrating, but like, they won't listen until you make them listen. So that's like my big advice for you, is just don't give up on yourself. You are so worth the fight, even if it is a lot. Okay. Yeah, that was a long one. But I hope I could have inspired someone to fight for themselves and fight for your health. I really hope you fight for your health, or in really any situation where you need to stand up for yourself. Just do it. Just stand up for yourself. You are so deserving of standing up for yourself. Okay. So, yeah, that was that long rant. I will definitely keep y'all updated on this journey once I speak to my neurosurgeon. I'll let you all know if he decides if I need to take any sort of intervention precautions. I'm assuming probably because I do have the family history of ruptured aneurysms, I'm assuming he's probably gonna recommend some sort of intervention. Maybe he just wants to monitor for now because it's so small. It's really hard to know. Everyone's situation is so unique and different. So I can't really predict what he's going to tell me, but I'm like not really super nervous about it until a neurosurgeon tells me to be nervous about it. I'll keep you all updated on that for sure. So it won't be until April that I have more answers on the topic, but thank you for listening to my rant. I really had to get on my soapbox for this one. And yeah, if you want to see more yapping from me, consider subscribing. If this video was useful or entertaining to you at all, consider giving it a thumbs up. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Have such a lovely day.